Hey! It's the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jackfruits, what's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We got a couple of things to talk about. First thing I want to say is this, and I want to be clear. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. There has been rumors of the NBA being rigged for years. I mean, at this point, I don't think it's one of these things that somebody's going to hear and be like, oh, man, it's unbelievable. I don't think anybody thinks that this is unbelievable. And just so we can be clear about how far back these rumors go, and we remember there was a referee. I forgot what his name is. We'll look it up. I believe that he was actually being investigated by the FBI. And one of the things they had said is that he himself was involved with rigging. And one of the main reasons why I believe that the NBA is being investigated beyond the fact that they already were most likely being investigated already, and information was already available to the current federal agents that go after things like this, is one of the reasons is because they already were investigations open, at least leading back to this. And one of the things that this particular referee had said was, he went to jail for this also, if y'all don't remember. One of the things that this particular referee had said is that games were rigged against the Knicks. Keep that in mind. With that being said, the FBI has arrested Chauncey Billups. I think a warrant was out for his arrest, or they have detained him. It could be detained, not arrested. It could be, we want to ask you some questions. Come down here to the offices. It could just be that we need you over here at the department so we can investigate this situation. It could be that and no more than that. So real quickly, what Chauncey Billups is in trouble for is something else. We're going to get back to the NBA thing in 2 seconds. But what Chauncey Billups is in trouble for is something else, allegedly. They were like a poker game that they were running, or whatever the case might be. And so Chauncey, along with others who would be at the game, they had these special glasses that allow for them to see the back of the cards. And I'm assuming poker is what they're playing, by the way. This allowed them to see the back of the cards so they could see what the opponent was having whenever they had these special glasses on. In a way that it worked, and somehow they stole like up to like $7 million. So Chauncey Billups is in on that. Terry Rozier is also in trouble, but he's in trouble specifically for something that happened on court. Now, I want to say something real quick, and I want to be clear about this because we're going to talk about some situations that have happened in the NBA that they're probably also investigating. So, just so we can be clear, we're going to talk about some NBA stuff. So, Terry Rozier is in trouble because this guy, he got to be the geniuses over years. So apparently what he goes and does is, he already knows that he's going to be pulled from a game. So you ever wonder how these dudes bet? And they be like, yo, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars every year betting on these sports games. You want to know how it happens? Listen and pay attention. So, the NBA allegedly is rigged to the point where they're trying to put on the best show possible. So what they want to do is they want to have their most electrifying talent go as far in the playoffs as possible. And when you have somebody or a team who is extremely electrifying and their ratings on television going through the roof and things as such, now you want to take this team and you want to basically put this team as the forefront of your league, like what had happened with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. And the reason why I'm pointing Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors out specifically is because that was supposed to be LeBron's reign, right? LeBron is supposed to reign. It's his career. You remember, I think Steph got him three finals games to 1 or something like that, or some number like that. Anyway, in any regard, they elevate these teams. So when you're a player and you know that guy right there, they want to elevate him. So you know those people time is going to get cut. So now before the game even goes, the person's perfectly healthy. They're like, well, we're going to sit you. We're going to say you have a stomach issue. We're going to sit you. We're going to say it's a hamstring. Get it? You get it. Now just imagine that this was also happening on the team that was projected to lose. So now you have a situation that is created where you are running the NBA or you're owners of the NBA or you're a coach of an NBA team, and you know 3 to 4 days prior whether a player is going to play or not, even though that player is perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with this player. Now, Terry Rozier, he was just effing up on purpose. You could see what he was doing on the court. He was throwing the ball to the other team, all types of weirdo shit. And so Terry Rozier knew that he wasn't going to play one game. So he went and told his friends and his family and whoever the hell to bet the under, because he already knew he wasn't going to play. So they all bet the under. He played 6 minutes. Everybody caked. So that's what Terry Rozier is in trouble for. So now I want to ask a different question, because I'm curious how many people think the NBA is or is not rigged. So I want to ask, do you think the NBA is rigged? Right? Curious. Yes, no, and just want to see results, right? I want to know, do you think the NBA is rigged? And I want to talk about a couple of instances in the NBA, because I want you to understand also, they're looking at mob families, just so we can be clear. You know, the NBA, for whatever it is, it's generally been ran by New Yorkers. You do understand this, right? Even though the Knicks never win. This takes that whole Stoudemire injuring himself a lot differently. I'm going to talk about some NBA stuff real quick so I can inform people. And then we're going to go look at a couple of articles about what happened with who got arrested. But I want to say something. The New York Knicks was on the precipice of greatness. They should have won the NBA title the year that Melo first came over, that run through those playoffs. But what happened was Stoudemire got injured. Let me tell you how he got injured. 2 injuries, by the way. Second one could have been calmer. The first injury was Stoudemire, apparently, a kid asked him, could he touch the top of the backboard before the game? He was like, yeah, fine, I could touch the top of the backboard. He ran, he jumped, he touched the top of the backboard, and when he came down awkward, and he hurt his back. Now, that's questionable to me now, knowing what I know now, and knowing what I knew previously before then. Not just about Stoudemire, Just so we can be clear. Not just about Stoudemire, just so we can be clear, but about the NBA and the conversation that we're having right now. Because how often have we seen players get mysterious injuries that don't come from in-game play? And now all of a sudden the team that they were going up against, that they were supposed to win, that they were supposed to beat, is propelled to the finals or like sort. That Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, uninjured Amari Stoudemire, quite possibly could have been the best duo ever in the NBA. Ever, with the exception of Jordan Pippen. And for those that don't understand how good prime Amari Stoudemire was, go look at some footage. I promise you, there's no player in the last 15 years that is shutting him down. Only player I could think about that I think, it would have been an issue is Rodman. And that's because Rodman would have been doing mad gay stuff. Would have been taking his mind out the game, Like, come on, Rodman. Like, we playing basketball, fam. Let's go look at an article or two on this stupid foolishness. Hold on. So, Rodman, but a prime Amari Stoudemire dunked it on everything. Everything. And when he came to the Knicks, he got a jump shot. NBA players arrested. Let's go with the FBI arrest former and current NBA players, right? All right, here we go. FBI has arrested NBA coach Chauncey Billups, current player Terry Rozier, and former player Damon Jones as part of a large-scale gambling and illegal sports betting investigation. The operation also involved dozens of other individuals, including members of the New York Mafia and sinners on the conspiracy to use inside information on NBA games and rig high-stakes poker games. So basically, I explained it pretty well. So let's break down the accusations that's being made, apparently. Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, who also was a Hall of Fame player, is accused of helping to lure people into rigged poker games. That's crazy. Like, I'm going to say something. This is real. Real talk. Real talk. Hold on. We're going to come right back over here. I just want to say this. This is real talk. So, this is why when the thing you're chasing is money, you'll never have enough. Like, you never have enough. Even when you get enough to support your family, even when you get enough to buy the things that you want, it's just never going to be enough because the thing you're chasing is money. So there's always going to be people that have more. So therefore, your chase never ends. I hate that one of the motivating factors that often need to be used to encourage kids to get out of the hood is that you have to go find a better life for you and your family. We need the purpose to stay on the love of the craft, but it's hard when there's such a need in the community. And so we raise men and women that instead of chasing the purpose, they're chasing the means to an end rather than the way. Just something to think about in any regard. Terry Rozier, the Miami Heat guard, allegedly coordinated with co-conspirators to bet against his performance in an NBA game by secretly leaving due to a fake injury. So, Terry Rozier. So, in this particular situation, it's basically what I had explained earlier. He had already knew, for whatever the reason is, he was going to be leaving the game. He already knew this. This was something that was knowledge to him. So they can't just like take you out of the game. They have to have reasons to not play you, or whatever the case might be. Whatever. Like, you know, I don't know. People like, yo, why didn't you play this guy? It was all this time. I ain't playing because I ain't like him. You can't tell the guy that. You can't tell him that. You gotta be like, yo, look, I didn't play him. He got hurt. I ain't hurt. I don't like him. This is what it is. And he ain't that good. It is what it is. In any regard. He had prior knowledge that he was not going to be playing. So therefore, with this prior knowledge that he had, that he was not going to be playing, that does not look like the real T-Moto Productions. But salute, fam. Because T-Moto Production has spaces in his name. Why are you in here with a fake T-Moto Productions page, fam? Something wrong with you? You was waiting for me to say hi to you so then you could accuse me of doing some shit I didn't do. Out of here, widows, man. Get back to what I'm doing. So basically what Terry Rozier did was he went and knew he was not going to be playing in the game, told some people he wasn't going to be playing in the game. They bet his under. They bet that he was going to, like, before the game started, obviously. They bet that he was going to do less than what his numbers is in his normal regular game because they already knew he wasn't going to play, so there was no way he was going to make his numbers. They go, boom. There you go. A whole bunch of co-conspirators. Y'all all busted. With that being said, Damon Jones, a former player and former personal coach for LeBron James, he is accused of providing inside information for game betting schemes and also helping to recruit players for rigged poker games. So these guys is all over the place, just doing foolishness. They're just doing foolishness all over the place. What are you gonna do at this point? So I think a big issue. I'm gonna say what I also think a big issue is in basically our communities, and that is in our schools they don't teach economics. I'm so pissed that parents aren't busting down the doors of whatever your local elementary school, high school, and junior high school is, busting down the doors at every single meeting. Like, look, we need to teach economics. I get it. You're trying to allegedly teach my kid how to make more money, but could we teach them what to do with the money when they get it? Because I think that that's maybe more important. Think about how many people win the lottery and then be broke before 10 years is up. Before 3 years is up. They win $60 million after taxes, maybe get you're getting less than half. So you're getting maybe $27 million after the government take whatever the part of their stuff is. 3 years after that, now you broke. You worse off than before because before you at least had a job. You quit everything. So can we bring economics back to school? Because what these basketball players and many other people are suffering from is getting to where they perceive the land of milk and honey to be, then when they get their milk and honey, they spill it all over the table. None of it gets to the plate. So this is what's probably most likely happening in these particular situations. And they also, remember, we're not teaching people to live within their means. And what I mean by that is, when you can have all the flyers gear, all the flyers clothes, all the flyers gear. When you come outside, you that person. Right? But yet, when it comes to whatever you have to take care of outside of that situation, you need assistance. You need help. You're on public assistance. This is what I'm trying to say. Trying to be nice about it. You're a baller, but you also get, and there's nothing wrong with getting snapped, just so we can be clear. Because when you talk about these things, often people think you're trying to criticize when you're not. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with getting any of these things. But what I'm saying is, how many people do you see on these things also talking negatively about other people, their lifestyle, what they're doing? Like, fam, how? Take the stick out of your eye before you talk about somebody else's. How about that? So what we need to do is bring economics back to our schools. They had a show that was on TV called Coupon Wars or something. And on this show, there was people clipping coupons and then going to the supermarket and getting so much stuff. And then the supermarket was giving them back money. Now, just so we could be clear, this is good for the supermarket because those cards, the coupons that they was given was worth so much money for the supermarket. And that's why the supermarket had to give them back money, just so we could be clear. The fact that not only myself, but this isn't a thing that we're doing in our neighborhoods is incredibly crazy. Why are we not all clipping coupons to everything? Not just stuff in the supermarket. Because it's more important to spend a lot of money so people can be like, I got it like that. Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. We have a poll up. 6 people have voted. It said, do you think the NBA is rigged? So far, 67% said yes, 17% said no, and 17% also said just want to see. So I'm assuming that's a 4, 1, and a 1. Can't be a 4 and a 1 and a 1. Gotta be a 4 and a 1 and a 1. Anyway, in any regards, let's get back to the NBA thing real quick. So, just so we could be clear, Stephen A. Smith said that Trump is going after the NBA because of basically the treatment that he had received from players and people that are part of the NBA organization, how they spoke against him and bashed him. So now he perceives us to be the enemy and he's going against us, yada yada, this and this and that. I want to say something real quick. And this is the thing that Satan does. And this is not me calling Stephen A. Smith Satan. This is just, I want to contextualize something real quick so you can understand what Satan does, right? So one of the things that Satan does is, and take this into consideration, Satan is always accusing you of the thing that they're doing. I want to be clear on this. Satan is the author of confusion. So whatever Satan is doing, they're accusing you of. All right? Because how can you clear up all the whatever the hoopla is, well, they're muddying the water consistently, accusing you of things you're not doing. So now you're always on your back foot. Why am I saying this? So the NBA is constantly accusing Trump of being racist. And I want to be clear about something. I think the NBA is the most racist league. Definitely in America. But probably on a global scale. Racist league. And the reason why I say this is I hate that when you're a white dude, you could only have certain specialties or it isn't respected. It wasn't always like this. Go look up Rex Chapman. There's some pretty good white boys that went into the NBA and didn't get the time of day. They got kicked out. That doesn't happen in no other sport. Now, do the NFL has this racism? I think the quarterback issue. There's always been a quarterback issue in the NFL. Just so we can be clear. You know what I'm talking about. There's always been a quarterback issue. Whenever a great black quarterback came around, all of a sudden nobody hears the whistle. The refs swallow their whistle while you're getting killed in the backfield every now and then. Cam Newton. So, and if you want to even go further with the racism, NBA racist, go check and go look into why there was even a clothing situation in the NBA. While all of a sudden, so it goes both ways, just so we can be clear. NBA is just a racist place. All right, there was a. So basically, because of Allen Iverson, basically because Allen Iverson was in a beef with I think David Stern at that time. That's why all the players now have to wear suits and have to be dressed appropriately. But these guys, they dress like, some of them ain't even dressed like men nowadays. But dressed appropriately when you show up and you sit on the bench. You got to have like a suit and tie and stuff like that. Because David Stern didn't like how Allen Iverson would be over there on the bench like this with his gold chains on, with a hoodie, just dressed regular, like a regular street dude. He didn't want that on his bench. But in reality, what was happening was they was trying to do a rebranding of the NBA, and they wanted Allen Iverson to look a certain way because he was so influential. So that's really what was going on. They wanted to use Allen Iverson in order to be able to, as a manipulation tool, because he was so influential. But he wasn't going with whatever their plan was, so they started taking things away from him. Okay, you're not going to do this thing that we want you to do. Okay, now we're going to not allow for you to dress like this. And if you do dress like that, we're going to fine you. We want you to do this other thing. Okay, you're not going to do that. Okay, now we're going to fine you for this. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what Allen Iverson was going through, just so we could be clear. So the racism goes both ways. And that's what I was trying to say. The NBA is like one of the most racist leagues there is. Like, I know everybody might think it's like, man, it got to be hockey. Nah, fam. How many black people you know trying to play hockey? I mean, in order to make it to the NHL and be black, I'm assuming you got to be like top tier. I'm assuming you a whole star. And you got to be crazy as shit because football was right there. You decided to do hockey. Where you from? You know how hard it is. So I'm gonna say something real quick, and then we're gonna get back to what we're talking about. So I grew up in the Bronx in the 1980s, right? And I want to be clear about something. I grew up in like a dead end area. I grew up very, very dangerous area. Right? It was like dead end. Like when murders happen over there, don't never get solved. Like that. Like, you understand? So right near Fordham Road, if you know anything about Fordham Road, near Fordham Road. But it's like a dead end area. Like now, there's like no buses go through there, nothing. It's just a dead end area. Anyway, in any regard, in order to get a game of anything going, it just was almost impossible at some points. For real, for real. Like by the time I got into a certain age, it just, how many kids can you get together to play a game of baseball? And that's what we played in my neighborhood, baseball and football. I mean, I didn't know what a basketball court was, not where I live. So we played baseball and football. How many kids can you get together for baseball and football? Shout out to Freddie. So I had a best friend that lived down the block from me. Well, I probably wasn't his best friend. But anyway, so he lived down the block from me. And Puerto Rican kid. He had a cute sister. Her name was Ada. Ada was his mom. Her name was Nilsa. So he lived down the block from me. And we used to play football, but we used to play with 4 downs. We used to have from pole to pole. And it's like everything's a kickoff, basically. I'm in my end zone. I throw the ball up. Boom. You catch it. And then, you got to try to get past. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got like just a little sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that shit. But, he didn't even care about football, so he was just playing that shit because I was playing. It was his football though, so I guess he cared about football. I don't know. In any regard, how many people you could get together to organize these things? You understand what I'm saying? It's not really that easy to get enough people together to organize sports, except for like, unless you have like a community or a group. Like you're not just walking out to the soccer field and it's gonna be enough people out there to play soccer. You can do that with basketball. It's just different. How many times are you gonna walk out to a baseball field and there's gonna be enough people to play a game of baseball, a legitimate game of some sort? You can say that for almost any sport. But not with basketball, because as long as you got 2 people, you could play a legitimate game. So basketball is just different in that regard. Anyway, so people believe the NBA is rigged. I think the NBA's, I think that there's a chance, that, if the FBI wanted to go back into the NBA, I could think of a situation right now. For everybody that wasn't alive in the 1990s, there was a situation, I believe it was in the first round, where the New York Knicks came up against the Miami Heat. And it was a situation where some players ran off the bench because it was like a brawl. I believe that was the brawl where, what's his dude's name? Coach Van Gundy was hanging off of the leg of Alonzo Mourning. So basically what had happened was there were suspensions that had happened. But the way the Knicks suspensions went and the way the Heat suspensions went, many people didn't believe was fair. And the way that the Knicks suffered basically made them have to suffer for 2 games, whereas the Heat situation, they only got penalized for 1. The Heat ended up winning that series. So that's stuff that you could go back and look at and be like, how fair was that? I'll give you another one for anybody that's curious. there was a situation that happened with the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings, the Kobe Shaq Lakers, I believe, and the Chris Webber. I don't know why Chris Webber Sacramento Kings had Chris Webber. They had what was the center? I forgot his name. What was it? Beatz. I think they had got him from Charlotte too. He was on the Hornets for a while. I forgot his name. He was also a foreign-born player. In any regard, Chris Webber foreign-born? Chris Webber was foreign-born. Chris Webber is the son of a military guy, I believe. In any regard, or is he from Detroit? Anyway, in any regard, that's neither here nor there. You can look that up. But in any regard, so in that particular playoff series, many people believe that the last, I think, 2 games, the calls was slanted in favor of the Lakers. Everything was going against Sacramento. They had White Chocolate was their point guard in Sacramento. I think they also had the light-skinned dude that played incredible defense. I can't remember his name. I used to use him on a couple of video games, by the way. Not Sacramento homeboy, Doug Christie. I think Doug Christie was on that team. There's another team he used to be on that I used to use in a video game. Doug Christie was on that team. Light-skinned dude. He played incredible defense. He had a jump shot. I can't remember the center's name. In any regard, a lot of people believe that they were going to actually win or beat the Lakers. A lot of people believe that they was going to actually go to the finals. I believe they had the best regular season record also, Sacramento. They ended up losing in very precarious situations. Now, beyond all of that, we could look at just games in the NBA regarding the Knicks. A lot of calls go against the Knicks. Now, this is something that a lot of people just don't generally know. James Dolan does not get along with the other owners of the NBA. He's not friends with these guys. He's the outsider. Put you on the more game for everybody that don't know. I believe the NFL and the NBA are both set up this way. I'm explaining to you how the NFL is set up real quick so y'all can get an understanding. I believe they're both set up this way. The NFL do not own the teams on the NBA or nothing like that. The teams in the NBA pay the NFL. I'm going to say that again. Pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm going to say the first part over. James Dolan is not friends of none of these dudes that own these teams in the NBA. He's not cool with none of them. Maybe one, maybe two. But overall, they're not cool. I'm going to explain something to you. James Dolan also used to own, I don't know if he still owns Cablevision, but at one point or another, he owned Cablevision. There was a TV rights deal that had went down around that time when he came into ownership of the Knicks. His father had previously owned the Knicks. He inherited the Knicks. My camera froze. He inherited the Knicks from his father. When he inherited the Knicks from his father, sorry about that. When he inherited the Knicks from his father, he had already been building Cablevision. That was something that he had been doing before he came into ownership of the Knicks. Divac, Vladi Divac, appreciate you. When he came into ownership of the Knicks. So I want to be clear about something. The other owners do not like him. They didn't like the deal that he had made in the situation that he was in. So if we take the way the NFL is structured, and the way the NFL is structured is like this. The owners, the team owners, pay the NFL for the NFL services. Owners. So the commissioner where's the NFL commissioner? What the fuck? Roger Goodell works for the owners. Do y'all really understand what's happening right now? Sometimes I question whether people really understand what's happening. Hey, I'm going to go to commercial break. We come right back. We're going to go to commercial break real quick. Going to come right back.
Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their
Yeah, so I'm having a technical issue over here with my camera. So we're going to be looking at graphs and stuff over here on this monitor for the rest of the show, just so we can be clear. With that being said, so what I'm basically trying to intimate is that Roger Goodell is the commissioner of the NFL, meaning that he works for the NFL teams. Let's check if the owner of the NBA is in a commissioner of the NBA is in a similar situation. Adam Silver. I don't even know who these guys are. The more you know, fam. The more you know, fam. This is what I mean by people be having conversations with me about things, and I be trying my hardest to not be disrespectful when they don't be knowing nothing that they be talking about. They be, like, people be knowing nothing about what they be talking about. They just be talking. They heard somewhere somebody said a thing. That person, they like that person. So they just assume what that person knew what they was talking about. I don't know. What the heck could I tell you? I heard somebody the other day get upset at somebody because they was charismatic. Like, how you get upset at somebody for being charismatic, man? Like, how is this a thing? What kind of world are we living in, yo? Like, what kind of world are we living in that we're just, you getting upset at somebody for being charismatic? They're not even using their charisma wrong. They just happen to be charismatic. They're not doing anything. What kind of world are we living in, yo? In any regard, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, every commissioner of all of these leagues work for the owners of the teams. Do not forget that. So when you see the commissioner come out and say a thing, that's basically what the majority of the owners are agreeing with. So now imagine you're the owner that owns a team that the rest of the league wants you to sell. What you think is happening to what's her name over there? The Lakers owner. Jeannie? Is her name Jeannie? Jeannie Buss? Her name is Jeannie Buss, right? It's Jeannie Buss, right? What you think is happening to her right now? Oh, LA Lakers. Look what they put. Lakers. Oh, she sold? No, the Buss family. So the Buss family is the Jeannie Buss. There she go. So the Buss family is the I guess the majority owners. Did I even click the damn button? I think the Buss family is the majority owners or something like that. She's always pretty. I wonder how much plastic surgery she's... No, I don't. I don't really care. I mean, she's pretty, but I wouldn't date her. She's always been pretty, though. Not my type of pretty, but pretty. In any regards. So, they're trying to get her to relinquish control over the Lakers for the last couple of years. Thanks to LeBron James. Thanks to LeBron James. LeBron James. Yo. Every time I hear somebody act like he's the best. So I was having a discussion with somebody the other day, and this is why sometimes I tell you the LeBron thing. Whenever somebody has a conversation with me about LeBron James, and they try to tell me like a whole bunch of foolishness, like the better than Jordan, that's foolishness. He's not better than Jordan. We're not doing that, right? But when they do the better than Jordan thing, I'm always like, that's just foolishness. We're not doing that. Obviously, he's not better than Jordan. And this isn't even coming from a perspective of I'm a LeBron hater, I'm a Jordan lover. I'm saying when you have to play 20-something years and you still didn't get to 6 finals victories, I'm sorry, but one of the ways that we gauge how well somebody does something is their percentage to be able to be successful at it. So in baseball, if you could hit in the major league baseball, MLB, if you could hit a baseball 3 times out of 10, you're gonna go to the Hall of Fame. That doesn't exist inside of if you win 3 rings out of 10, then you're automatically the greatest player. We're not doing that. So, and when he also, just so we can be clear, when people try to say, well, this isn't about rings, look at all his accomplishments, then I'm still going to go percentage based. Once again, I'm going to say, okay, so we have Mark McGwire. He hit, I don't know how many home runs he hits. Let's say he has a year that he hits 45 home runs. But that same year, he bats 245. And then we have Barry Bonds. And I said 45 home runs for Mark McGwire. We got Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds hits, let's say, 40 home runs that year, right? And he bats... Hello. Hold we back. Sorry about that. I was having a situation over here. So let's say we have Barry Bonds, right? And he has 40 home runs. And let's say he bat 352, right? So let's even raise Mark McGwire's home run total. Let's say he hit 55 home runs and he batted 245. So now we have Barry Bonds. He hits 40 home runs. He hits 40 home runs and he bats 356. Barry Bonds had a better season with less home runs because with that 356 batting, right? Batting average, he probably also drove in like 150 something, 160 something RBIs. Where Mark McGwire, even though he has 55 home runs, he's batting 240 something. He probably drove in, even with all those home runs, 116 RBIs? There's probably a 50 to 60 RBI difference. That's a big difference. So I look at it like that. The percentage that you are successful of doing a thing matters. So the fact that LeBron James had to go to the finals so many different times, and might I also add, lose 2 teams that I think Jordan would have beaten. I think that Jordan and Pippen, I think their defensive capabilities would have been able to hold. And first of all, if we're playing with the rules from the 90s, Jordan and the Jordan Bulls win flat out. They stomp Golden State. And if we're playing with the rules from nowadays, they don't stomp them like defensively, like Golden State don't score, but they probably have the highest scoring total ever in the history of a finals because Jordan is probably going to average 80. The game's going to take about 4 hours because Jordan's going to be on the line so much. He's going to take about 30 free throws each game. He's going to average 30 free throws. At the end of every game, the Golden State Warriors will only have 5 players playing. And that's only because I think you have to continue the game if you only have 5 players, the last 5 players that's eligible to play, and somebody foul out. So I think that guy just stays in the game and you keep playing. So that's the only reason why the game's going to end. Because the way that the game is called now, every freaking thing is a foul. Michael Jordan will go to the long line in finals. He's going to go to the line about 30 times. He's going to average like 30 times to the line. In the finals, I'm going to need to explain something to y'all. Hitting a 3 is great. It allows you to maintain pace of a game. But you want to know what going to the free throw line does? Consistently going to the free throw line. Consistently. While And I just want to be clear on this. While shooting threes, this is his final season when he was on one leg. He was on one leg. This is crazy. So he played basketball on old and on one leg, and he averaged 20. Anyway. So what shooting threes allow you to do is maintain the pace of the game. So whatever the pace of the game is, when you come down and you hit a three, bang, you're able to maintain the pace of the game. Getting free throws up, although, allow you to control the pace of the game. I'm going to give an example. Let's say the other team just scored 2 straight baskets. Easy ones. We got Michael Jordan. What do? We drive him to the lane. Why? Because most likely, there's a better chance than not, he's going to score the basket. But even if he doesn't score the basket, he's probably going to get a foul. What is the foul going to do? They just made 2 easy baskets. We're messing up their rhythm. Now imagine playing against a player who every single time you play against him, he does this BS. That's Michael Jordan. Not only is it heck trying to stop him, your offense can't get into a rhythm because he's constantly going to the free throw line. And this is back when they allowed you to grab. They allowed you to hand check, because that's basically what hand checking is grabbing. People was getting mauled on the way to the basket. So I don't want to hear nothing about LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. That's insanity. LeBron messed his own career up by playing so long. LeBron should have played until he was about, I don't know. He should have retired a couple of years ago. And I'm not saying, and this is the misconception, and this is a shame also, that people believe that a player should play until they can't play no more. If they could still walk, they should still be playing. Like, that's crazy. This guy got a whole wife. He got kids. Got kids behind the kids he got. Why can't they retire when they, still nice, young, and healthy? I hate that whenever, we retire from anything in America, we have to now figure out what we're going to do after retirement. Think about that for one moment. These guys are super millionaires and everything else, right? But when they retire from whatever sport it is that they play, people always wondering why they didn't do something else. It's like a servitude. You mean why they didn't do something else? Why can't they enjoy their life with their family? I need to know this. It's always mind-boggling. Anyway, let's go read some more articles real quick on the Chauncey Billups. I don't even never know if I'm spelling this guy's name right. I don't think so though. There we go. Chauncey Billups arrest. Let's go look at this Chauncey Billups arrest real quick. Let's look at CNN. It's terrible. You gotta look at MZ, see what they talking about. Hornets guard Terry Rozier was indicted as part of an investigation into inside trader betting, a separate investigation into what law enforcement describes as mafia organized rigged poker games led to the charges for Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups. Also, allegedly, they're actually on the looking into some actual mafia guys. I don't know how true that is, but allegedly. The arrest of 2 well-known NBA figures Thursday in a nationwide federal investigation into the internal gambling and high-tech scam poker in high-tech scam poker. Like, that just doesn't read well. Is it me? That just doesn't read well. Especially a sitting head coach, former finals most valuable player, have roiled the league. What's wrong with these guys? Why are you even using words like this? What's going on? Okay, they muddied the league. Okay. Who's this guy? Andrew. It's these guys right here. That's what y'all know is right. This biz. Let me see. You got one more time, man. Y'all better. Come on, fam. Have roiled the league from players to front office to age. Not that I am adverse to picking up new words, just so we could be clear. But I don't like their phrasing at all. As I mentioned the sentence before when they said the arrest of two well-known NBA figures Thursday in a nationwide federal investigation into internal gambling and high-tech scam poker. Like something just... It should say a poker scam. Like that just don't, especially a sitting head coach in the finals most valuable player, have roiled the league from players to front office agents. The arrest, but they are correct though. It has, just so we can be clear, it has muddied or turbid. It's a liquid to make turbid. A liquid turbid muddied. It has muddied the waters a lot, and that has been the conversation we're having. So they're not incorrect, but come on, fam. The arrest, particularly that of Hall of Fame and Portland head coach Chauncey Billups, altered the tenor of this week's conversation around the NBA, whose new season has started only 2 days earlier. The mood, a front office exec from one team said, went from fanfare to fear. Who else is involved? The executive said it's a nightmare for the league. Reactions to the extraordinary news spread quickly, ranging from surprise to anger at the league itself. According to 5 people who work inside or closely with the NBA, all of whom were granted anonymity because they were not permitted to speak publicly about the matter. Surprised they got caught, a player agent said, but not surprised is happening everywhere. Terry Rozier was indicted as part of an investigation into the inside of sports betting. A separate investigation in what law enforcement officials described as mafia organized rigged poker games led to charges for Billups. Former player and coach Damon Jones was named in both indictments. He's just getting all around this. Damon Jones is like, he got a crimes this commits this. I'm his. Don't leave me is out. I'm his is. What crimes is we's gonna commit is. Shout out to Damon Jones and whatever he got going on over there. I know. Where we at? Damon Jones was named in both indictments. Shocking day. Indiana's Pacers coach Rick Carlisle is also the president of the National Basketball Coaches Association, said Thursday before a game. He said, shocking day. Shocking day. He's got a real gravelly voice. Yeah, he got a real gravelly voice. Shocking day. I don't know. Shout out to Rick Carlisle. Wait, no, I'm thinking of the other guy. That's not Rick Carlisle. I'm thinking of the dude, Sprewell choked out. Anyway, he said, who is also the president of the National Basketball Association, Coaches Association, said Thursday before a game. Carlisle said he contacted Billups, wink, wink, and his representative asked how Billups is doing, but did not hear back. This is a very serious situation, Carlisle said. The irony, I guess, from my perspective, was yesterday was a day when our general counsel came down and read us all the regulations on gambling and warned our coaching staff, our players, our support staff about all these different things. Billups' attorney denied his client's involvement. Anyone who knows Chauncey Billups know he's a man of integrity. Men of integrity do not cheat, defraud others. Attorney Chris Haywood said. I want to say something real quick. Chauncey Billups has always come across as a person, like the way that he speaks, carry himself, the way he played basketball, just always came off as somebody that was of high integrity. I never got that feeling from Damon Jones, might I add. But Chauncey Billups definitely always came across, in my opinion, as somebody that was high integrity. In my opinion. I mean, who am I? Billups' attorney denied involvement in blah, blah. Jones, in addition to the rigged poker game, was also accused of disclosing privileged information to bettors about the injury status of a player before a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks in February 2023. That player was LeBron James. According to multiple reports, though he was not named in the indictment or accused of any wrongdoing, James, he snitched, is also accused of telling the same bettors on January 15, 2024, that another Lakers player would miss the game because of injury. Before that knowledge was public, the only player fitting the indictment description is Anthony Davis. Yowzers. Billups, who is, I want to say something real quick while we at this part. Until the government makes it so that any legitimate sports franchise can have zero to do with any type of gambling of any kind, you're going to have an issue. Now, the problem with this is, which I don't really see as a problem, right? But on a commercial level, the issue with this will be, you know how people have those leagues where they, draft their players and whatever the players do. Sports leagues not being able to have anything to do with those is going to hurt or be harmful. Just so we can be clear. But independent of that, I do not think that the NBA should be able to have anything to do with a DraftKings. I don't think that any present or past players should be able to have anything to do with DraftKings. I think the fact that they are openly having involvement with past and present sports professional athletes, I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue. I think you just, come on. Let's not pretend now. That's what I'm saying. Let's not pretend. Billups, while he is not named in the Rose indictment, is seemingly implicated. However, the indictment refers to a person named co-conspirator 8. What did I just say? Is this? Who was described as an Oregon resident who played in the NBA from 97 to 2014 and has been a coach since 2021. Billups was drafted in 97, who played in 2014 and became a head coach in 2021. I 100% believe that Billups is talking. I think that, first of all, most of these players, when they get caught, they're going to talk. I think most of these players are asking, who can they speak with upon being arrested? Oh, wow, I'm in real trouble? Okay, who could I talk to? Yeah, nah. I got everyone. I got everything. What you want to know? I think that's the situation with many of these players. And it always kills me because one of the things people love to do, and it's wild to me, is they love to get somebody who shouldn't be in a situation, put them in that situation, then get upset when they don't behave the way that they wanted them to behave in said situation. Like they'll go get a square, take them to a situation that they shouldn't be in the first place. And then when everything goes left and the square do what a square is going to do, they be like, yo, he is snitch, or yo, he is sucker for that. No. You're the sucker because you should have never brought this person somewhere where they were not supposed to be at. In any regard, co-conspirator 8 is accused of having bettors inside information about the Trailblazers game in 2023, where Billups was their head coach. Wowzers. Co-conspirator 8 is alleged to have told another defendant in the case that Portland would be tanking the game and that several other team players will be held out with injuries. What did I say? Other defendants in the case was alleged to have used the information to place bets against the Trailblazers. Billups' attorney denied those allegations. Chauncey Billups was never and could never gamble on basketball games, provide insider information, or sacrifice the trust of his team and the league. It would tarnish the game as he has devoted his entire life to, Haywood said. Remember what happened to Pete Rose? And Pete Rose passed away and was never allowed back into the MLB's graces. Not gonna read this whole thing, but basically we got an idea about what happened. Now, camera went out. It's 10:17. I'm about to let y'all go. Everybody, please have a blessed day. I'm gonna let y'all go out with one more commercial, two more commercials, and then we're gonna get up out of here.
Spilling blood to save the world. I love my job.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2,
1. I think the girls with their nails done now.